Welcome to episode 2 of Hoops Your Daddy. I am Liv Moods, joined by Brandon Cristal, the head sports analyst and reporter for KOA, as well as a member of the Guerilla sports team. BK, we had some conversations with the head coach, Mike Malone, obviously, and some players on the Nuggets team following game 2. What are some things that we heard from talking to them?
Well, Malone, one of the things that he emphasized was just how there's, I guess, unwavering confidence in Jamal Murray, right? That even though he's having a horrid shooting night, you're always going to go back to that well. And we heard that after the game Monday as well. They didn't talk Tuesday. They didn't do anything Tuesday. I'm not saying they didn't do anything, just recovery and all of that. But with the 2 days off before they even had to get on a plane, they just gave him the whole day off, especially when you had to work so hard on that comeback. So you got some of that from Michael Malone. He got into a couple other things that we can touch on. But then also MPJ said, because there's video, and I guess until I went back and looked at it, he's basically running towards Jamal knowing that the basket's going to go in.
Oh, before it even landed, he was already.
And he said that, he goes, that's a layup for him. And that was his quote today.
That's his shot.
It's a layup for him. So I think that those were obviously a couple of takeaways. They put Justin Holiday up, and while his minutes weren't, abundant, we did see in game one a little bit of Justin Holiday, and I think just throughout, you get almost or just a touch over 13 minutes for him in this game. You want guys out there that you trust, right?
For sure.
And an 11-year vet you're going to trust. Even DeAndre Jordan, you're gonna trust him more than Zeke Naji at this point.
Agreed. Do you have an updated Nuggets in, or are you still feeling like Nuggets in 5 is the way to go?
I feel really confident, and you've probably checked the line more recently than I have, in betting the Nuggets to cover in game 3, because it feels like they demoralized the Lakers, right? And so
I think this series has now gone mental, and I think we talked about that in episode 1 of Hoops Your Daddy, where we said not only are these wins important just because they're wins, and we obviously wanted the Nuggets to defend home court, but we know that it can't feel good to lose 10 straight against the Nuggets. I mean, I'm sure mentally that doesn't feel great. I'm sure it shakes your confidence. For a guy like LeBron James and Anthony Davis who have been here, done this, maybe not, but some of these younger guys, I mean, it's tough to mentally bounce back from going down 0-2, not just going down 0-2, but against a team that you have struggled 10 times in a row to compete against. I mean, I can't imagine that that's not affecting their mentality going into game 3.
It has to. It'll be really fascinating to see what D'Angelo Russell does, because he was my X factor when we talked last week.
You were right on the money.
And then he was obviously terrible in that first game. Then he comes back out. He's in a full uniform shooting after the game.
I took his over because I was like, this is a great bounce back.
Yeah, I wish I took it on the threes. I mean, he was over 2.5 in the first quarter. But will that translate every single game? And that's the one thing that we haven't seen from D'Angelo Russell, at least against the Nuggets, is that consistency. But after those guys, and you kind of know what you have from Austin Reeves, right? He's good for at least 15. There's probably going to be one game where he'll get you 25 plus. And that could be this game. It could also be game 4 when their backs are truly against the wall. LeBron and AD will come out. They've been through so many battles, and certainly LeBron, and being down 0-2, especially on the road, to come home and know that you're just going to play better at home. But I think you're 100% right. The rest of the roster, I would be really concerned about, because none of them have really been in these spots, certainly not on this stage for the Lakers. And so I just checked your favorite gambling site, and the Nuggets are 1-point underdogs Thursday night in LA. So it almost feels like a game you want to.
Interesting.
Doesn't that feel like a game you want to bet more points, like adjust the line to 6 or something?
Yeah, because honestly, that to me, them being underdogs by even just a point, to me, they are solely based on LeBron James and Anthony Davis wanting to defend home court, which is all good and great, but there's now been 10 games where they have not, it cannot just be the LeBron AD show. And that's something that I took notes on when I was watching game 2 was, AD was cooking us for 3 quarters. I mean, he became a missing person in the 4th, but for 3 quarters, we did not have an answer for him. LeBron was doing LeBron things. He's still shooting the 3 very, very well. We were lacking defense pretty much the entire first half, allowing guys like LeBron and AD to do what they do best, which is play playoff basketball. However, to blow a 20-point lead, to me, it's not just a great win by the Nuggets, but it's an exceptional loss by the Lakers. I guess I'm confused as to what bookmakers saw in game 2 that would make them think that the Lakers can all of a sudden, after 10 straight losses to the Nuggets, get their stuff together for game 3. That's a little surprising to me.
Yeah, maybe it's just the thought that they were still obviously up 20 in that game,
right,
and they were up 12 in the first game.
They were, yeah.
If they step on the gas, there's a chance, because it's not at elevation and it's back home with, we know there'll be plenty of celebrities courtside and the Lakers faithful. And I don't know how many people realize this, but Crypto.com, formerly Staples, American Airlines Center in Dallas and Chicago, the new United Center, are the biggest buildings for basketball. So I remember, because I went to the finals there. It was the first time I'd ever been to then Staples when Kobe and company lost to the Celtics in 2008. And I just couldn't get over how big it was. And so there's just a few more, a few more fans that'll be mostly Lakers fans. We get that. But even knowing what we know about, in game 1, you get 59 from LeBron and AD. In game 2, you get 68 from them, and it's still not enough.
Yeah.
And my wife was on the phone with one of her coworkers who's a Lakers fan, and I was like, those dudes are going to need to get you 80 to win. And in this case, they would have needed to get 71 between them. Right. But they can't put on much more of a case. Like, they're not going to be able to win 4 games where each of those dudes are contributing 30-ish, if not even up to 40 points. So I understand the idea that, this is their bounce back game. I would think, if anything, the Lakers would play better with their backs against the wall in game 4, but that's maybe projecting too far out. I don't know.
Do you think it's possible that the Lakers get both home games?
Yeah, 100%, because they still have those 2 guys. And what's crazy, and so there's a couple different stats I came across, but one is that the Nuggets are shooting 26.2% on wide open threes, and they're still 2-0.
And they're right.
But there's a world where, because the other night, only 2 guys made threes, right? It was just Joker and MPJ, and nobody else made threes.
Yeah, Jamal was 0 for 5.
Yeah, and look, shooter shoots, so you want him to keep shooting.
Of course.
How many 0 for 5 nights is Jamal Murray going to have behind the line?
And that's just it. And I had this conversation with a Lakers fan yesterday, actually, where he said something very interesting to me. And it made it very obvious that he does not consistently watch the Denver Nuggets, because he said, and just ever so slightly, he said it, thinking I wouldn't catch it. He's like, if I were a Nuggets fan, I'd be scared, which I already started to chuckle. I'm like, okay, we're up 2-0. What should I be so terrified about? And I get it. LeBron and AD on the other side of the ball, anything can happen. But he said, when are you going to get 27, 20, and 10 from Jokic again? I said, see, now that's how I know you don't pay attention at all to Denver Nuggets basketball, because this man does this often. This is not a one-on. That's not a Nikola Jokic backs against the wall. They're either eliminated or they're still in the playoffs, and he's got to give it his all. Like, he does this often. That is a normal, that's, to me, he rebounded a little bit more than normal. But that's a normal night for Nikola Jokic. It was just funny to hear that from somebody who very clearly does not consistently watch the Nuggets unless they're facing the Lakers, because I'm like, no, that's not abnormal. It really isn't. He does that often, actually. Including in the finals last year, in the same game that Jamal had a 30-point night and 10 assists. So that was the first time that had ever happened in the history of basketball. Yep. He had 2 guys with 30 and 10, and he also threw in 20 boards in that game, if memory serves me right. But what was a great stat, and I did use this on my KOA updates Tuesday morning, was this has happened 8 times in playoff basketball history, where guys have had north of 25 points, 25 or more, 20 boards, 10 assists. So it's happened 8 times. Joker's done it now 4 times. Wilt Chamberlain, he's often referenced in the same space as Kareem once, and Dave Cowens from the old Celtics team. So in the history of basketball, 2 all-time greats, and Dave Cowens might be in the Hall of Fame too. I don't want to shortchange him if he is. But obviously 2 all-time greats with Kareem and Wilt. But Wilt did it twice. Kareem did it once. And Joker's done it 4 times, and it may not be the last one, even in this playoffs. Exactly, which proves my point that to say that, you're not going to get this from Jokic again, so I'd be terrified. First of all, I will certainly get this from Jokic again. This is normal behavior.
You got it in back-to-back playoff series. So the real question is, if he doesn't do it again this series, and they advance, does he do it again against either Minnesota or Phoenix?
Correct. So I originally said Nuggets in 6. I hope we don't C6. I would love for the Nuggets to take care of at least one game on the road against the Lakers. I know initially you said Nuggets in 5. Before we jump into like the nitty gritty of game 2, as well as what we predict for game 3, I have beef topics. Okay. You guys know this is coming. I mean, I am a troll to my core. First and most certainly my favorite here, LeBron James bitching about the refs. Now, here's the deal. I knew it was coming. And unfortunately, I sat in my living room because my mom cannot stand LeBron James when he's a crybaby. It drives her nuts. But my mom can also be a little dramatic at times. So he gets up there and he's got this sour look on her face and I can already feel heat coming from the recliner. I'm like, Mom, any competitive athlete is going to be frustrated right now. They blew a 20-point lead. This man is a respective GOAT to some. And you know, he's a legend in this sport. So yeah, he's frustrated. He's very competitive. He's great at what he does and he gave it his all and it wasn't enough. He's okay to be, you know, I'm giving this man the benefit of the doubt, which is already hard for me. And he's doing fine. You know, he's answering questions and then he brings up the replay center and I'm like, damn it, LeBron, you had me and then you lost me. Here I am defending you, which I don't want to do anyway, to my mother who cannot stand you. And then right before my eyes, he does what I was really hoping he wouldn't do. He bitches about the replay center, which Lakers fans, you already saw my video on social media. I've said it. I'll say it again. The refs have always sucked in the NBA. They just rarely suck for you. So now you're getting a taste of what most fans have to deal with often. Refs, bad officiating to me doesn't really affect LeBron James all that much. So now that the Lakers and LeBron fanboys are getting a taste of it, it doesn't taste so good. I get it. It's never tasted good for the rest of us, I promise. But to go up there to talk about one play that I believe happened in the third quarter, hey, missed foul or not, it wasn't the reason that a 20-point lead was lost. Like if that, I get being frustrated about the replay center. If it was a moment in the fourth quarter with 10 seconds left that absolutely cost them the game, I get that. But blowing a 20-point lead to me is probably where you should start with your frustration. Felt like misdirected anger and honestly just felt like another moment with him where there was a lack of accountability. Like, hey, to me, it was just the wrong thing to talk about after blowing a 20-point lead against the Nuggets. It irritated me so bad.
One of the other numbers I had written down, and it's finally been not corrected, but the pendulum swung a bit. And I had seen this stat, and it kind of blew my mind. I retweeted it, that the Nuggets Saturday night, by winning game 1, became the first team in NBA history to win 9 games against an opponent in a row where they shot 4 or more there was a 4 free throw gap between them or more, 4 free throw discrepancy or greater. So meaning the Lakers had at least 4 more free throws in every one of those 9 losses. And we know how big the gap was in game 1. And so I brought the stat up to Michael Malone in Sunday's press conference, and he said he hadn't heard that stat. The number, which I didn't actually tell him at the time though, 204 free throws to 130 in those 9 games. That's pretty stark. And, you know, and so my question to him was like, how do you just, you know, stay diligent with it, or are you on the refs? And he basically said, yeah, we have to be aware of it. He said it wasn't like we weren't getting to the rack Saturday night. Right. We weren't all just settling for jumpers. He goes, but then again, they take 500 more free throws than their opponents this year. So it's something that they are aware of. Now, it is worth noting that the Nuggets went 15 of 17 from the line, and the Lakers just 10 of 13. So again, you finally had that switch, but I appreciated Malone's answer to me, and that they're aware of it, but they also understand it's just kind of the way of the world.
Of course. But I guess it's just hard for me to see of any fan base out there to complain about one bad call in a game where your team blew a 20-point lead. There's however many teams in the NBA, I can't even think right now.
We'll go with 30.
Yeah, 30 different fan bases I would rather hear from than Lakers, because I'll tell you right now, Lakers fans may sound like it's a trick question because the answer is pretty simple. There is one team in the NBA that is significantly higher than the rest when it comes to free throw advantage, and it happens to be the Los Angeles Lakers.
Which, just doing that math means they're getting a favorable whistle more, right? So they're getting the most favorable whistle, I guess is the best way.
Correct.
And I don't have these numbers. We could probably dig into them, and maybe we'll at some other point. I'd be willing to bet just fouls called against LeBron and AD are super high, but then them as defenders,
Right.
probably have a number that's below the average of guys who play as many minutes as those guys do. This is just me throwing that out there, but if somebody were to go do the research, I bet that would prove to be the case, that they commit less fouls, I guess, is that are scored as fouls. But when you want to talk about refs too, and not to get too far off topic, but I can't remember who I was or who I saw that tweeted about Luka that he carried the ball 30 times. And you think back to Allen Iverson, you just think how traveling and carrying is just not ever really called, right? And there's so many clips out there, the crazy one of Russell Westbrook where he took 5 steps and then...
That's what I mean. Like,
but
officiating has been bad.
It's
not like it's this new thing that just happened to the Lakers in a game 2 in Denver. Like, get real, Lakers fans. Please wipe your tears, build a bridge, get over it. I'm over it. And LeBron, next time in a post game, maybe talk about the wide open 3 you missed at the very end of the game and not the call that was missed in the third quarter. That's all I have to say.
One more thing about the refs, too. These are the best refs in the world, okay? For what it's worth. They are better than the refs in the NCAA.
Of course.
For the, I mean, it might be 1 or 2 that could easily be in the NBA. They're certainly better than refs at any other level beyond that. Doesn't mean they aren't without their faults. That's why you do have the replay option available to teams now throughout the game, as well as obviously the refs to check it themselves late. So I think that the NBA has – I've never picked that hill to die on as far as refs go, because, yes, some players are going to get more favorable calls, and it's always happened. And as much as LeBron whines and it feels like it's magnified more, I wonder if part of that, though, is the world we live in with social media and the fact that we can see every single one of his, complaints. Because Tim Duncan whined as much as any player I've ever seen, and he's revered just being a quiet, stoic guy. And maybe it's because I grew up in Dallas, so I'd watch a lot of Mavs Spurs games, and the Spurs were always in the finals, right? They won 5. Tim Duncan bitched as much as anybody to the refs, maybe ever. It's just that LeBron's been so great.
It's magnified for sure.
And it feels even more magnified in LA, but I think that it's kind of all working together. Like, I don't know how much Michael Jordan bitched at the refs, but he probably did. Larry Bird too, and Magic as well. We just didn't see it.
We don't have copies. We don't have receipts.
Right, we don't have those receipts.
Okay, so the second topic of beef that I have, why the actual F has Jamal Murray never been named an All-Star? What the hell?
There's a simple answer. And Jamal Murray is, if not all time, he is certainly the best player in the NBA right now to have never been an All-Star.
It's insane to me.
But if you look at the way the All-Star voting goes and when he's been banged up, or even, this year is a good example. Like, he's banged up early, he misses however many games. It's actually going to cost him money because by the end of the year with the leg stuff, he now can't be an All-NBA player because he missed too many games. But that's kind of been the case. You obviously have to erase. Last year, he was finally easing back in after missing an entire season. I guess I don't remember.
It just doesn't sit right with me.
I just don't remember the numbers well enough between, before he got hurt, like that season. Where was he there and how many games? He's missed a lot of games, and because this is something Michael Malone said he challenged him on going into the year. He wants him to come out and be playoff Jamal every night, right? To be an all-star premium player that he is. And certainly in the playoffs, which is when it matters most. It's like he and Jimmy Butler, who does make a lot of all-star games, are still kind of the same, though, that in the playoffs, they have a gear that not everybody can get to. But the reason, Jamal is the reason, because he'll start slow. He'll have games with 7 points and 4 assists, right? Or 14 points and 3 assists. And you're like, wait, if you're the best player or one of the 3 or 4 best point guards in the league, why are you not every night 20 and 10?
It's just hard when you also have him, though, on a well-distributed team, where he doesn't have to be that guy. He's a selfless player. He doesn't have to be that stat guy every night.
That may also be part of it, too, right? Which
is fair.
And he's a point guard, I don't say in name only, because when he's passing the ball well, everything's really going well. But the offense funnels through Joker, who's
that's fair.
Not just the best passing big man of all time, in the conversation with Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, John Stockton, whoever else you want to put up there, LeBron, without question. So he's that elite as a passer. And because of that, it's not necessarily even Jamal's fault that Joker, who's averaging 8.5, 9, 10 assists, depending on the year, is also going to get everyone else involved.
Right.
And if they're not just running 2-man game the whole time. Right. MPJ's open, KCP's open, AG's open, Will Barton was open, right? Like, you can keep going backwards. And so I think that's some of it, is that because Jamal doesn't always have the ball in his hands, say the way Luka does, and the fact that you can still get so many games where he and Joker will have 8, 9, 10 assists each gives you an idea of just how this team is different than every other team in the league.
It is. It's why they're champions. And I love that for them. I just can't justify showing my future children a highlight reel of Jamal Murray from, let's say, 2020 to 2024 and saying, look at this pure talent. And then also in the same breath having to say he wasn't an all-star. Oh, it just makes my skin crawl. Anyway.
What would be crazy
I hate it.
I think he's going to be an all-star, but there's a world where the Nuggets can win a couple more championships certainly in this window, right? And Nick Wright, for all of his Nuggets hating for all those years, has certainly done a 180. And
oh yeah, that's what happens when you get caught with your pants down.
Sure. And
I mean,
if you wanna pick on Nick or Kendrick Perkins or Gilbert Arenas,
don't even get me started on Perk. He is a Jokic op, and that's a fact.
I'll let you. But the point being, to steal something that Nick had said on his show on FS1 in the last day or two, was that he called him the apex predator because he did basically a King of the Hill video and had tiers, right? And so I think LeBron was on the third tier. The second tier he left blank and then had Joker on a tier above a blank tier, that's the gap. And so he called him the apex predator and said there's no reason to think he won't add more titles, including this year, but in the coming years. So Jamal Murray also could end up with 3, 4, 5, whatever that number ends up being, and become a Hall of Famer with maybe the least amount of All-Star appearances ever. And so now he does live in a world, though, too, where other than Luka, the young guards in the West, he's right there with them, but the older guards aren't making All-Star teams anymore. Steph will keep making it, but Steph's not going to play forever. There will be spots available. You got to think if he can stay on the court, he will be an All-Star. But he is right now the best player, I don't know about all time, but that's probably a short list anyway, but certainly the best active player to never be an All-Star yet.
I agree. Okay, let's do a quick little rapid fire one-word answers here. Will we see Jamal Murray go 9 for 24 in Game 3? Because he did go 9 for 24 in both Game 1 and Game 2. Do you think we will see that in Game 3, yes or no?
No. Do you think we'll see that in Game 3?
We better not. I'm just kidding, Jamal. I love you. No. No is my short answer there. We can jump into Jamal in just a little bit when we talk about our predictions for Game 3. Next rapid question. Is it at all possible to limit Reggie Jackson minutes?
Yes, but it's going to be based on how Peyton Watson's playing and how Justin Holiday is playing.
There's other factors for sure.
Because you can have a world where Christian Brown's running the point. At the same time,
I wondered about that in Game 2 as I was watching.
And I think we saw that down the stretch.
We did.
In the regular season, that CB's, because he's not a guy
he can be that guy.
Right, he's not looking to score every time. He'll take an open jumper. He'll certainly get to the rack and has no problem playing off his teammates. But that he has the ability to handle the ball and get into the offense, especially in the unit where Joker's out there with basically all backups. And I know that's...
Which we see often.
Yeah, and it kind of shifts, right? We saw that certainly early.
For sure.
And then as the season's gone on, you almost see Jamal and MPJ with the backups, or Jamal and AG with the backups, and Joker mostly with starters except for Peyton or CB. So with some of Reggie's shot selection and shot making or lack of shot making, it feels like it's a very slippery slope with him, and it's kind of perplexing.
My anxiety when he grabs a hold of the ball, and that's the thing. I love Reggie. I love that he's a Colorado native. Weirdly, the little goggles, I just think I just want to give him a hug. I think he's great. I love that he's in Denver. All of that.
And just doing the math, his minutes went to Justin Holiday. He played 8.5 minutes, and Justin Holiday played 13. So instead of Justin Holiday playing two or three,
I guess maybe next question, will we see more Justin Holiday minutes?
I think that's probably
in Game 3.
I think it's probably going to be about where this is. A lot of it's based on how Reggie's playing, right? If Reggie's out there and he's running the offense and he knocks a shot down, you want to leave him out there. And even Saturday night, he misses a shot, but then he buries a corner three.
Well, so it's so funny because I'm telling you, I tweeted. I'm on my, Twitter fingers are going crazy during these playoff games. But I tweeted and I said something about Reggie, it's not your moment. You're doing too much. You're trying to do too much right now. It's not your moment. 2 seconds later, he hits that three. And then I quote tweeted it and said, okay, it's your moment right now. Definitely. Right now, it's your moment, because it was a big three. It was a momentum shifter for sure at that time. But yeah, it's I have so much anxiety with him. We can talk about that a little bit more in a second, talking about predictions for Game 3. My final little rapid fire question here. who, not what, who is the answer for AD defensively moving forward? Because we got to slow him down a little bit.
Oh, you mean for the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, Wemby, I think, can probably.
Is the answer for AD.
Yeah. I don't know if there is an answer. And as
that.
frustrating as that is, this is something that we've talked about certainly off air. You've talked about it on your rapid reaction post-game stuff, is that when we see AD play like this, like, he's showing you that he is an all-NBA player, first team. And this is what, when we saw him at Kentucky, and he beat my Jayhawks, in 2012 in the Final Four, you're like, this is a kid that was a 6'4" guard his whole life, shot up to 7 feet, but still has all of his guard skills. And that's part of the reason I think he doesn't live on the block. I think he'll go down on the block and hit that, turnaround jumper, or if he can get an easy bucket. But he doesn't want to live in the post because he can score from everywhere.
Right.
His biggest issue is, I think his toughness is certainly fair to be questioned. It doesn't seem like, at least publicly, LeBron's ever given any indication that he's frustrated by AD's lack of availability over the last, half decade they've been together. But you got to think of the back of his mind, because LeBron just doesn't miss games unless it's been really necessary, and later in his career, of course, except for that weird 2-week break in Miami. But if I'm LeBron, who has battled through so much, I would be pissed watching AD miss a game because of a shoulder. But all that being said, when AD plays like this is what you thought you would have from him his entire career.
All career, yes.
And his numbers probably are still close to that, but it's the games played you look at, and it feels like he can disappear. The fourth quarter absence is really mind-blowing. And
he disappeared, like poof, he was gone, is what it felt like.
I think at the same time, the way you try to combat it is you're just going to have to double him more and hope that he's looking to force that action versus him kicking it out. And if he does kick it out, you hope that person misses it. But you can't. There's not anybody one-on-one that can stop him right now in the playoffs, I don't think, other than, Wembanyama's not in. Rudy Gobert, I think he'd eat his lunch. And so give me somebody you think that would slow him down that's in the playoffs. I don't have a good answer, because
I don't either.
I mean, I think a healthy Kawhi would give him fits, but Kawhi's 6'6" and AD's 6'11".
I would say if it's a who, foul trouble would be my answer. I think that's the only way you slow down what he's doing right now.
Michael Porter Jr. is close in size. I guess so is AG, but he's bigger than MPJ and has an arsenal that MPJ, I don't think, can always deal with, which is why you can't leave MPJ on LeBron too much either. AG certainly can make things challenging for LeBron. So can KCP, but then it's kind of the same thing. And then AG on Anthony Davis, he's just a touch too slow. Mm-hmm. And we know, obviously, you can't get by with Joker on him for too long. Joker's help defense, understanding rebounds, sticking a hand in here and there, but You can't have too many possessions where Joker's just head up on AD. Just like when AD's head up on Joker. Joker finds a way to get to the basket, score on a great shot blocker, or get someone else a very easy look.
Agreed. Okay, so Game 3, it's coming up. What do you think was the biggest problem for the Nuggets in Game 2, and how do we fix it in Game 3? Because here's the deal. I think it's worth noting that, yes, the Nuggets won that game. Yes, Jamal Murray had a clutch shot that has now gone viral on every social platform because of just like the goosebumps that it produced, because it truly was like, I mean, I was screaming in my living room because that whole game, it kind of felt a little defeating. Like, we're at halftime, I think we were even texting like, ew, it's not looking so hot right now. So great win, way to fight back from being down 20, and everyone made adjustments in the game, and it was great to watch, but it was not a pretty Nuggets game. I think that's something that Lakers fans are forgetting, is that it's not normal for Jamal Murray to go 0 for 5 from the 3. It's not normal for us to play as poor of defense as we played in the first half. There were a lot of things to me that didn't go right for the Denver Nuggets. So what to you is the biggest problem in Game 2, and how does it get solved in Game 3?
Well, I think you're always going to look at just defensive possessions and effort certainly in the first half, but why do you fall down 20? What goes into that? It isn't just AD and LeBron being really good, because I don't know how much life was made difficult on them. And then D'Angelo Russell hitting all those shots too. It feels like you can make life harder on him. But I feel comfortable they'll make the defensive adjustments they need to. The three-point shooting, I think, is, I don't call it the biggest concern, but when you go 8 of 34, so it's only 23 and change.
It's just not like the Nuggets.
Right. So if they come out the next game and just go 12 of 34, then they might win by 10 because the Lakers shot 43% from three. And so I think it's just not keep shooting and knock down a handful more threes and you'll be just fine. So that was the thing that I guess surprised me, that nobody made a three outside of Joker and MPJ, but that when you looked at it, you said that they're taking good threes, they're just not knocking them down, so you can't hit the panic button.
I jokingly said, did a double rim get installed at halftime by the Lakers to the Nuggets side? Because
double rims are the worst, by the way.
I have never seen more in and out shots.
This is a single rim.
There we go. That's what we needed. No, I've never seen more shots go in and out. And again, I was just making a joke. Like, that was more just a reflection of our offense truly taking too much time to find its rhythm. But it was like the shots looked beautiful. A lot of Jamal's threes that he shot, I was like, that's his shot. That was a beautiful shot. It looked like it was good, and then it wasn't.
Coaches aren't going to lose sleep on that. It's not going to keep them up at night. And, Michael Porter Jr. going 6 of 10, you think back to last year and how poor he shot the entire playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. But not once throughout the entire postseason run to the championship did you ever have a problem with the threes that he took.
No.
Right? Because you're like, this has been who he's been his whole career. He's shot at 50% from three a handful of times. And you think about the biggest of all 6 of those threes obviously came in that scramble and a great pass from AG. And in that, it shows you who Michael Porter Jr. is as a shooter, because he's not even set there, and squared up and still is able to knock it in with 2 defenders coming at him. But I don't think Michael Malone and his staff are losing sleep on shots going in and out that are good looks and aren't air. I mean, I feel like Reggie might have had an air ball that wasn't great on a three, if memory serves me right. But
that might have been when I was like
beyond that
on Twitter,
right? And maybe that was Saturday even. But beyond that, they're not worried about that. And the defensive miscues, I think, are more communication and effort. And one other thing that Michael Malone had said in his Tuesday availability was that they have stuff they haven't even really gotten to yet, like adjustments they want to make or plays they want to run or sets they want to run, and they haven't even gotten there yet. And maybe they don't have to. It's sort of like when a football team has a bunch of plays they haven't unveiled and they keep their game plan kind of vanilla, but it works. Like, we'll just save it for the next game, or because too many times it feels like Andy Reid's the king of this, and Sean Payton a little bit in New Orleans. They get a little too cute just because they have a play they drew up. It's like, well, just save it for when you need it. You're up 3 touchdowns. Why are you running a triple reverse pass or whatever it may be? But I'll throw that question back to you. Is what was the biggest concern to you about the Nuggets' performance in Game 2 when you went through all those different things, obviously, that they could have been better at?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we were texting, it was pretty clear that both offense and defense, when we were talking, needed some significant work. I think for me, it really hugely, to be more specific about the defense thing, perimeter defense for me is a big one, because I just think that this Lakers team has the type of weapons where if you let them get hot from the three, it's just a really, really scary situation, and they can pull ahead way too much, especially in Los Angeles. I don't think we can allow the Lakers to have a 20-point lead on us when we're in LA. That worries me. So for me specifically, perimeter defense, I mean, we've talked about before, LeBron James shooting the best 3-point percentage of his career right now. And there were moments where he was wide open. Yeah. It's like he just had all the time in the world to prep, to get set, to shoot it. And it was beautiful and it landed every time. D'Lo is a player that we know, if his threes aren't falling, he is not the same player. So for me, I think to be more specific about what you said, because I do think overall defense was the largest concern for me in Game 2. Perimeter defense specifically is probably, because even in Austin Reeves, if you let him get hot from the three, doubt. There's a lot of players on the Lakers that when their threes fall, they're a scary team. So I think if we can avoid that, perimeter defense for me is probably the biggest one.
Well, and similar to the Lakers, because LeBron and AD, or to the Nuggets, because LeBron and AD command so much attention, that does allow every one of those guys to either have easy looks or more open looks, and that's Austin Reeves, that's Russell, it's Gabe Vincent when he's in, Taurean Prince who had a couple threes, and Hachimura if he wants to take them, and that's going to always be the case when you have superstars that are really good passers, and obviously LeBron's as elite as they come as a passer, but same with Joker, but that's what gets MPJ going, gets KCP. I will throw this at you because realize this Saturday night, when KCP makes 4 or more threes in a game, since joining the Nuggets, they're 18-4. regular season and playoffs.
It's funny because I was literally just about to say, obviously defense was a big one, but offensively, like I had mentioned, there was some work that needed to be done as well. But listen, if it's a 3 battle, I don't care as long as ours are falling. I mean, we had in game 1, KCP was hot from the 3. We even had some clutch 3s from Peyton Watson in game 1. Like there were some sneaky
right off
moments.
the bench, his first real playoff action, he knocks down 2 threes.
So if the Nuggets 3s can fall, I think where we really have an issue is if the Lakers are falling and ours are not, because we have just as many weapons that are capable of shooting the 3.
Probably more weapons.
Unless their name is Aaron Gordon. Aaron, love you. Don't shoot the 3 ball again. Please
well, I don't know.
Do it. I cannot handle it anymore.
His corner 3, I think it's because his shoulder's not right. Because his corner 3.
Okay, so then he just shouldn't take it.
Right, but I'm saying fundamentally,
I
don't have a problem with Aaron Gordon wide open corner 3s. He's made those certainly his whole career. And I'll throw you one more Aaron Gordon stat that I came across. The Nuggets are now 38-0 since AG got here.
I saw that. I love that.
When all 5 starters begin and end the game. So if somebody rolls an ankle in the middle, KCP hurts his hammy, Jamal hurts a lower leg, then that result changes. But when all 5 of those dudes, since they've been together, and we know that there was a big stretch where they weren't because of injuries to Jamal and MPJ, and then just throughout the year because guys get nicked up. But this is against Western Conference opponents. They're 38-0 since they traded for Aaron Gordon.
Don't get me wrong. As much as his 3s just make me like nauseous because I'm like, oh my gosh, they just haven't been falling lately.
Right.
And I know you mentioned that the shoulder injury. So that to me is where I'm like, okay, no more taking them. It's not your shot right now. It's not your moment. Don't take the shot.
But
AG is wildly important offensively and defensively for this Nuggets team. I mean, he is. Talk about X factors. I think that he is one of the most important players on our team in a lot of different ways. So love AG, just not loving his 3-point shot right now.
Yeah, and just looking through the numbers here real quick, he's 0 for 5 in the playoffs. In April, he was, doesn't even say it right. That can't be right, 0.6 to 0.2, but he was 0 for 1, 1 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 2, 2 for 4. This is a really weird way to do this, but point being, you're right. He's not shooting. It's not his shot
right now.
He's not shooting well, but unlike other players, and I know shooters shoot, but maybe if it's not going for you, Reg, you don't have to fire it. AG's smart enough to not just shoot it. If he's open and it feels good and he catches it in rhythm, you're not going to hold it against him. But if he knows it's not going,
right,
and maybe he catches it on the wing,
it's different with
fake,
Reggie.
He gets in the lane or kicks it to obviously one of his teammates, so that AG has enough self-awareness.
Right.
I think
that is very fair.
When it's not going well, he's not going to force it. And with MPJ and Jamal specifically, and then I guess KCP to a little lesser degree, you want them to keep shooting, right? Shooters shoot. You just hope that
we needed Jamal to keep shooting. Otherwise, that game may not have ended the way that it did.
Right.
So,
they don't
absolutely.
go 0 for 4. They don't go 0 for 5 from 3. Even if they go 1 for 4, 1 for 5, you win by 5 or 6 points. So I'd feel good about it. I'd be cautiously optimistic if I'm the Nuggets, their coaches, and certainly Nuggets Nation.
So I think all in all, we know that the Nuggets have an offense that can be trusted and will figure it out. That is not a concern at all. I still remember it. It was like the moment where I really was like, this team is winning a championship. It was post game 2 against the Heat, where everybody and their grandma that wasn't a Nuggets fan was like, oh, be careful, it's over. And I'm like, wait, we lost by 3 and we had the worst performance I think I've seen by the Nuggets in a long, long time. To me, again, to come back from a 20-point deficit when one of your best offensive players is 9 for 24 from the field, 0 for 5 from the 3, and the 3 is his shot, offensively, they're going to figure it out. I don't worry about that at all. Defense, I think, is a huge one for them looking ahead to game 3. Hopefully they've made some adjustments, and I don't doubt that they have. This is what people are kind of forgetting at times with this Nuggets team. You have to be a smart team to win a championship. It's not just about talent and skill. Chemistry is involved. Just the mere fact that every teammate Jamal Murray has and his coaches, when he was ice cold, encouraged him, keep taking your shot, they will fall. Like, that to me just shows the camaraderie and the chemistry that this team has with one another, which I think is one of their weapons. But more than that, they're a very smart basketball team that knows how to make adjustments. We saw that in the finals last year after game 2 when they played horrible basketball, still only lost by 3, and then came back and tidied themselves up just fine, and it was like a completely different team. They will do that. They will make those adjustments, especially offensively. But yes, if defense can be a priority, I'm feeling good. So prediction before we wrap things up.
So
do we win game 3?
216 is the over-under. I think that loss was so soul-crushing that the Lakers just can't get to the level they need to. Doesn't mean they won't feed off their crowd. As I mentioned, the Nuggets are 1-point dogs. I think the Nuggets win by 6 or 7. I think it's like a 107-99 kind of win because I just don't know how much you can rely on LeBron and AD to keep doing this. I understand that's their averages, but with the stakes being raised in the playoffs, it's just hard to keep getting there, especially when you don't have enough help. Mm-hmm. If D'Angelo Russell makes another 7 threes, the Lakers are going to win this game. But I'm still picking the Nuggets to win, and I think if the Lakers win one, it'll come in game 4 Saturday night.
Back against the wall. Okay.
Just to extend the season, but
yeah,
it'll just be an inevitability, and you get the gentleman sweep.
Your Nuggets in 5 would be nice and sweet. Yep, you predicted that. I would love it. I originally said Nuggets in 6, but obviously to see a lot of things go wrong for the Nuggets in both games. Believe it or not, the Nuggets are up 2-0, and I don't think we've seen the best Nuggets basketball at all. Not even close, actually.
Certainly not for 48 minutes. Yeah.
Definitely not consistently. Yeah, now, fourth quarter of game 2, now that's Nuggets basketball. Well, that's the Nuggets team we know and love.
Another thing that Michael Malone said when he was asked about the lead, he said he would like a small halftime lead. He doesn't want a huge halftime lead, he said, because he thinks that that's where teams will let off the gas.
And we've watched the Nuggets do it many times
absolutely.
in the regular season.
And then you think you can just, step on the gas again. And against crappy teams, you can. But against LeBron James and Anthony Davis in LA, you certainly can't.
No.
And so it'll be interesting to see, like you're looking for maybe prop bets or whatever, the Nuggets to win the first half, just the money line, if you will, in the first half, to be the first half points leader going into the break. But I think that they end up, pulling this one out and we get to 5. So are you changing your prediction? Do you think they win Thursday or with the NFL draft going on, and certainly plenty of Nuggets fans who also are keeping an eye on their favorite football team?
Yeah.
And what that team might do. Are they able to go in and beat the Lakers in LA with, I don't know, do we want to do like a, not roulette, but like let's pick one celebrity we think that'll be courtside?
For sure. I'm gonna stick with Nuggets, and I'm gonna join you on Nuggets in 5. I think that's after watching 2 games and knowing how smart this Nuggets team is, the adjustments that they absolutely will make because we've seen them make them before. They will be fine in this series. I think to blow a 20-point lead is just more of a reflection of the loser than it is the winner, to be honest with you.
What kind of score do you see Thursday night being?
I could see like...
Again, 216 is the number. So I went under with my prediction.
Yeah. Under might be a good one. Under might be the play there because I do think defense is what needs to be changed. So I would say, maybe like a 96-102 or something.
Okay.
I'd sit it around there. I think that's a safe one. But as for the celebrities,
I'm trying to think who's not only relevant.
I think Kim Kardashian will be there.
Kim Kardashian's a good one. We can't count.
With her son. I think it's her son will be there.
Yeah, and we know he's a big sports fan. Because they're at Messi's first game last year in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You can't count Magic and Diane Cannon sitting next to each other. You can't count Jack. I think we will see
Adele.
She doesn't count either because her boyfriend husband is LeBron's
That's
agent,
an easy one.
Woo! So it's not that Adele's not amazing.
If she were in the sports book, that would be a...
But anyone who... Those 4 that I listed, you just expect to be there. Jay Moore, the comedian, doesn't count either because he's married to Jeannie Buss. So I think that Justin Timberlake feels right. I know he's at least been... Because he was playing golf with Jimmy Fallon in Vegas. So he's on... Not that private jets don't get you all around the world, but he's at least been in Vegas as of last weekend. So Thursday is he in L.A. So I'm going to go Justin Timberlake. And, God, I wish I could pick a movie star like a Tom Cruise, but I don't want to. Leo. I'm going to go Leo. I see Leo game 3.
Okay.
So Leo and or Justin Timberlake. And Justin counts as a movie star, too. But
love that. I'm going to stick with Kim. I think Kim will be there with her son. So this has been another episode 2, actually, of Hoops Your Daddy with Liv and BK. And, Yeah, let's go Nuggets. What a game. I mean, what a game. Shout
And
out to Jamal Murray.
Stay tuned
Insane.
for Liv's rapid reaction
Yeah.
after each Nuggets playoff game.
Post game, I will be chatting it up with you guys up on YouTube the night of the game. We'll have some social clips out. You'll be continuing to crush stuff with KOA, as well as getting us some locker room content, some practice content. So that's going to be exciting. I think the best way to close this out is to say Jamal Murray made a shot and maybe chuck this mic across the room. But that would be super petty and super Anthony Davis of me, so I won't do that. But shout out Jamal, shout out Nuggets. Excited for game 3. See ya.